Hey everybody, how's it going? I thought I'd try a different kind of video reviewing one of my guitars. I put out a poll a few weeks ago asking you guys if you wanted to see more of my gear and the stuff I use. So I thought I'd start with one of my most used bits of kit. This is the Harley Benton Amarok Baritone. It's one of the Pro Series and it's one of my favorite guitars, to be quite honest. I got it about 3 years ago. I don't gig, it's never been gigged, but it's been heavily used to record all types of things over the years, and I'm going to share my thoughts on it. Now, Harley Benton is kind of polarizing. You know, there's a lot of love and hate out there. It's a very, very, very popular budget brand, especially in Europe, because they give you super high spec or super good spec for the money. Not a lot of other companies can come close to these specs for the money. There are a few, and I've actually got one of them. I'll review one of those another time. But I've got two Harley Benton Pro Series guitars, and I think they're really good. So I'll just quickly go over some of the specs. Here it is. Obviously it looks and sounds like a guitar, so I'm not going to do any sound demos. But you guys, if you've been watching the channel, you know I use this all the time. Just check out pretty much any of the videos. I'll link a couple below. It's a 6-string guitar. And it's a 27-inch scale, which is like a standard baritone scale. You do get 26.5s, and you do get stuff longer than that, but those guitars tend to be a little bit more niche. You've got a mahogany body with a flame maple top, and I'm pretty sure this is just a veneer of flame. It has that reveal binding, which looks really nice, to be honest. The bridge is a hip shot style bridge. You've got EMG active, retroactive pickups, they're called. I think this is a ceramic, this is an Alnico. I'll get to those later. You've got a through neck design, 5-piece, maple, mahogany, ebony fretboard, and it's a very dark piece of ebony. It's a very nice piece. I'm pretty sure it's not dyed or treated or anything like that. It is the real deal. Stainless steel, I think it's blacksmith jumbo frets, and these are the big boy frets. Offset dots, and this is all stock. I've not changed anything on this guitar, except for the strings, obviously. And the headstock is a reverse headstock, and it's got Grover locking tuners. I don't know where these are made, but they feel great and they function as locking tuners should. I bought this because I wanted to replace my Cork KX1Q, which I've been using for drop tunings for years at this point. You know, the best part of about 15 years I've been using that guitar at the time. And it's a 25.5-inch scale for, you know, when you're going down to A sharp and A or even lower, it's almost impossible to get it intonated and have it playing correctly. So I was like, right, I need a baritone. I need a good one. I want to get the highest spec I can for the money. And this was it. I bought this in 2021 for, I think it was about $379 or $380. So I thought I'd give it a shot. The reviews were mixed because it's Harley Benton. That's just the way it goes. It arrived and it had a shockingly bad setup on it. It was forward bowed. So, you know, the neck was sort of like this. And anything below about the 12th fret was almost impossible to play. Above the 12th fret was okay, so I thought, okay, it's not the bridge, it's the truss rod. And luckily, it's got the spindle truss rod adjustment, which, if you've never used one of these, it's just the best way to do it. All you need to do is put something in there and just turn it. And did a couple of cranks on it, loosened the neck out a little bit, and it was ready to go. I mean, this neck is pretty flat. And the action isn't shredder low, but it's pretty damn low. Okay, the fit and finish. Honestly, I mean, I can't find many flaws with this thing at all. The only flaw I've found, and I'll probably do a picture in close-up, one fret here has not been rounded off particularly well. It is flush against the fretboard, but there is a little bit of a sharp piece there, which I didn't notice for like months of playing. And currently it's not a problem. But if you're looking for perfection, you know, pretty much on any guitar, you're probably just not going to get it at any price point. But that's a whole nother conversation. So I use this for mainly A sharp, A, G sharp at the moment, you know, really low tunings, not super duper low. Using the 27-inch scale, it really holds tuning very, very well. Chords feel big and clear, and, you know, when you're chugging away, it's tight. You know, on the short scale guitars, you just don't quite get that when you're down to like A and and G sharp and stuff like that. Like having a baritone, it just feels a bit better. And one of the main things is that people ask me, you know, is this like a different feel to a 25.5 inch scale? And yeah, it's slightly different, but it's not super long like a bass. You know, you're not into the 30-inch scales and stuff like that. It does still feel like a guitar. You know, it sounds like a guitar. You know, when you get a really long scale, like towards like 30 and up, it does start to sound different. It kind of sounds a little bit like a bass, you know, because you're in the bass scale lengths. But at 27 inches, it does still feel like a guitar. It doesn't feel too alien. The strings are tighter. You tune up to a certain pitch. You know, on a 25.5 inch scale length guitar compared to this, yeah, the strings will be tighter. So you don't need to use as thicker strings, which was the main point for me. I just thought I was getting thicker and thicker gauges. I thought, all right, yeah, it's time to go baritone. So when I was first shopping around for a baritone online, I looked at Ibanez, Schecter, ESP, you know, all the usual guys, Solar, and I thought, oh, these are all really good, you know, but they're like way more expensive than this. You know, like twice the price, sometimes 3 times the price. And obviously if you go boutique, you know, it's through the roof. And for the life of me, I couldn't find anything with this spec for this money. You'd have to go custom. So some quirks on this guitar. The EMG pickups, the retroactives, with the tone knob all the way up, you know, as you would play any other guitar, they seem really bright. Listening back on recordings, I'm like, wow, that's a really brittle top end. So I started messing with the tone knob after a while, turning it down halfway, and then after a while just turned it all the way down, and I was expecting like the sound that you usually get from turning the tone knob down, but no. It actually started to sound like a Duncan Distortion or a Duncan JB, like a fat humbucker and it sort of just high passed all those bad highs off it. So a lot of what you've been hearing the past year or so on pretty much everything I use this guitar on, the tone knob is all the way down and it sounds good. It doesn't sound like that, which I was really surprised about. I don't know if that's a mistake or if that's the way it's supposed to be. Who knows? The electronics, the knobs feel good. These pots feel pretty nice. They're finished really well around them as well on the body. It's all very nice. These are direct mount pickups. The switch feels really cheap, to be honest. And at some point, it's just going to stop working because sometimes, you know, a switch pickups and the pickup goes, you know, super low output or dead. It's not quite connected right. Yeah, I'm not a big fan of that. They are active. You know, there's a battery compartment here. I've been using this battery for 3 years. No problems at all. The feel of the neck, I've got to say, I don't think anyone's really touched on this. It's not like an Ibanez neck. It's not a super thin, shreddy neck. I wouldn't even say it's like on the thin side. I'd say this is very like middle of the road. The fretboard is quite wide though, like an Ibanez or a Schecter. The headstock, you know, it's not for everybody. Not everybody likes a reverse headstock, but I love it. I love that kind of look. And this, side by side to my Kiesel Aries, this headstock looks suspiciously similar. This is made in Indonesia. Probably by Cort. It does feel like Cort quality, but I might be wrong. String through body design, hardtail. I think that's about it. I really do like the 5-piece neck. I like multi-laminate necks like this because it does offer like stability overall. I do like that. I've got a piece of tape up here. You know, some people put like hair bands or whatever, those official bands up here to dampen the strings. I've just put a piece of tape and it works fine. And everything is pretty rock solid at the moment after I set it up. I've not really touched it since except for restrings. And the frets, you know, there's no fret wear after years of playing, like hardly ever. And I play really hard, especially on rhythm. And I do a lot of bends, that kind of thing. And there's almost no wear at all. So that's about it, guys. If there's anything I've missed, I'll probably put it in the description. But yeah, solid guitar. The main thing is great specs for the money, but the setup's out the box and some of the QC needs a bit of work. Yeah, just want to say thanks for watching, guys. If you like this video, let me know in the comments. Hit the like button, all that rubbish, and subscribe if you want to see any more metal related stuff. I'm going to do a few more videos like this if people like this video, and I'll be back sometime with a video on something else. So until then, ciao.